Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to ClanTour 3.0. We are in the semifinals here. Looking forward to some good Heroes of Newerth as I'm BreakyCPK. Joining me is What You Got. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, Breaky. It's early in the morning, but I did this yesterday, so it was early then, it's early now. I'm ready to go. I'm excited for some Han. We got two semifinal best of threes underway. The first one here gonna be Willowkeeper taking on the Doghouse. Doghouse is our defending champs from ClanTour 1 and 2.0. So I'm excited to see them play. They got to defend their belt. And well, Willowkeeper's got the tall task of trying to put their reign of terror to a close here.
Yeah, so looking forward to this matchup. Obviously, as always, we got some recognizable names in here on either side, even as we already have our first pick. In fact, though, coming out. So let's start analyzing, taking a look at what we got going on. We got the Ookie, Dr. Repulsor, Witch Slayer, the Chipper, Lord Salforce, and Draconis bands. And there's our Monarch. Very good support here, of course. Going to be coming out as our first pick option. Now, you and I were talking about something very interesting. I've been playing a bit of Han lately myself. I've been doing my stream thing lately again. I kind of brought back playing some Han. So I'm coming into this event, I guess, a little more prepared, you could say, when it comes to knowing how things maybe are going to work. However, I found out something interesting when it comes to the quote-unquote competitive play, that apparently jungle isn't necessarily the meta. It's instead that kind of 2-1-2 strategy more so. Is that so you're expecting to not see jungle today?
So typically we don't see a whole lot of jungling. As you pointed out, we see a lot of 2-1-2. We also see a lot of 3-1-1, which is tri-lanes, of course. But the main reason why we don't see a lot of jungle is because it tends to make the laning phase a lot weaker. You want to do very well in the laning phase, transition your lineup into the mid game, but also being able to utilize the jungle stacks early on, having your support stack the jungle, get those triple stacks, and then you have a hero that can rotate into the jungle from one of the lanes and work on the triple stacks relatively early. That always ends up proving to be very powerful. So we tend to see jungle options being avoided, and instead teams like to pick up heroes with good jungle clearing capabilities early on, so they can rotate in and get their GPM kind of boosted up in the mid game.
Well, right on. We do have some picks to follow. Obviously, mentioned the first pick, Monarch, coming out. Lodestone, Andromeda, the next two. Coming out for the side of, I believe it's Willowkeeper right there at the Legion side. Yep. And then back over to Doghouse, you have Fa, and going to be playing, well, at least right now, is a Balfour over there, then Magnus as well. So anything standing out to you so far? But as far as I'm concerned, this looks pretty typical, and even of the old school days.
Actually, everything looks quite normal. I would say the two drafts are actually shaping up really, really nicely here. I guess you could look at the lineups and say the one standout hero is the Balfagor so far. But I mean, if you're no stranger to Doghouse, you know that Snooki likes Balfagor. He's most likely going to be the one playing that. They do occasionally run it on Chris, but I am expecting this to be a Snooki Balfagor. They do put it either mid or short lane, so I think it will go in one of those two lanes. I think it's more common to run him in in the short lane, to get him that good start, so he can start kind of being a nuisance and pushing the towers. But I'm really excited. They already go with a Balfagor here in game one. To me, that already screams we're going to see lots of team fights. I think they're going to kind of be centered around the Balfagor. Kind of once the 8 to 12 minute mark kind of kicks in, I think we're going to see a lot of action this game. But man, they're flying through the draft. I guess they really know what they want here. We'll go over the secondary bans really quickly. So we had Tremble, Gemini, Flux from the Legion side, Corrupted Disciple, Zephyr, and Sir Bensington from the Hellborn side. So 5 out of 6 heroes are going to be those cores or carry heroes, and then we have the Flux kind of thrown in there. I think the Flux one, I guess that's kind of the standout ban, but they already have a Balfagor picked up. So I mean, what hero that kind of pairs really nicely with a Balfagor than a Flux? I mean, that screams wombo combo in itself. So
Yeah.
I think the bans are very tailored to kind of what the two teams are already picking up so far.
Yeah, certainly with that Flux, not only the Balfour, but of course the Magnus already on top of that. That could have been very deadly. So want to at least keep away from making it extra easy on the side of Doghouse. Understandable there for Willowkeeper. So they go Electrician and a Luna with their next two picks. after the bans do finish, and they have that purge effect of electrician, always useful. Excuse me. And then a Luna, of course, the support prowess that she brings, both a stun and a long range nuke. We've seen some flashy plays with that coming into play. Electrician, though, the idea of the static grip, and you can still move around now. Extra powerful hero. Also curious where this is going to be ran. And figured what Lodestone's going to be the off lane core electrician. Is this going to be a mid or a safe lane, you think?
You know, it's funny you mentioned that because we actually saw a safe lane electrician yesterday, which was very interesting. We actually saw a carry electrician ran in one of the series, and it was something I hadn't really seen before. And it ended up proving to work out. It was like a 700 GPM electrician, which was really, really fun to watch yesterday. But I don't believe we're going to see that here in this game. I think they are still lacking that position one hero for more of that kind of sustained damage role. So I do think we will see a carry on the fifth and final pick here from Tree. But that does lead me to believe we'll see the mid electrician this game. As you pointed out, they have the Lowstone who can go into the off lane. And they do have the two supports being Andromeda and Aluna so far. So we could either see a 2-1-2 from Tree or what I expect to be a 1-1-3 setup with their last pick coming out probably for the defensive tri lane, I want to guess here. But I do really like that they're picking up heroes like the Electrician and the Lodestone, specifically against the Balfagor and the Monarch. This is very good drafting, at least from my perspective. They have great tools, at least so far, to deal with the inevitable pushes that are going to come from the Balfagor, as well as the defensive capabilities from the Monarch with the Chrysalis and whatnot. So they're thinking about their
Yeah.
last pick here. They're going
So I was going to
go
say real
into their
quickly to
time.
clarify the purge that you could purge off Chrysalis, right?
Right, with the
Yeah.
cleansing shock from electrician. So that was a more or less a counter pick. I think that was reactionary. So they're going to kind of adapt their lineup and throw the electrician in there and just stick him in the mid lane to kind of get tanky and just be kind of a nuisance for Hellborn. But the final two picks from Hellborn were both the Malakin and the Engineer. So we're going to have the Magnus Engineer combo, that's a pretty scary one. It always seems to do quite well. Engineer, a great support hero right now, great option, great for team fighting, kind of pairs well with the Balfagor synergy as well. And then they go with a tanky core in Malakin. Um, it is quite interesting. They go for a strength carry once again, kind of going up against the Lodestone. So now Lodestone has more or less two targets that he kind of wants to land that Shatterstorm on. And well, you could at the same time, I guess, argue that now he has to pick and choose between Balfagor and Malakin. But regardless of that, he's still going to have really nice targets to kind of aim that Shatterstorm toward. As the last pick of the match for Tree will actually be a Monkey King. So what do you think about the Monkey King pickup, Breaky? You told me you've been playing some Han lately. You like the Monkey King pick?
I mean, it's always fun to see some Monkey King. Definitely have some memories come to mind whenever we have such a pick. You know, the Mickey Monkey King being one of those
I was gonna
way back
mention
in the day.
Mickey Monkey King. I was gonna be like, come on, Breaky, you must remember Mickey Monkey King. I mean, that's like a fan favorite, right? So this
Makes me
hero
wonder.
definitely can. Yeah, go
Well, it
ahead.
makes me wonder how many people tuning in actually know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I would think actually a fair amount, right? Like, there's
I'm
probably
sure
got to be a good
whoever's
amount of people
watching
here there.
knows who Mickey is. He's a pretty good name to remember. But
Yeah.
I guess the point we're trying to make here is Monkey King's a pretty fun hero, I think, to watch. He's very, very fast, very mobile, and he can, you leave him alone long enough. Sorry, he can be kind of scary too with some good farms. So they're gonna run him here as their position one. So it will be the Malakin versus the Monkey King kind of shape out here. It'll be
So it is
interested
going
to
to be
see how
position
this
one.
works.
That's kind of interesting to me actually, real quickly, is the fact that it's going to be position one Monkey King, because
Right.
usually when we would see it, he's more that solo hero, right? Where he's
Hmm.
the mid option. He needs those levels ideally to really again snowball the turn that we like to use. But being
Yep.
position one here, not necessarily going to happen. Instead, more of a contester in the lane. As Malekith is lining up though towards the bottom lane as well, as if they're going to be running that aggressive tri lane on the Hellborn side. So we're potentially going to have a try versus try bottom if things shape up here.
Yeah, and it's looking like we will. I do believe the Aluna will most likely end up rotating. I don't think that they will keep Aluna and Lodestone against the solo Magnus. I don't see a reason for them to do that, as Lodestone is a really strong 1v1 hero. Now, Magnus also very good in 1v1s against melee, so this is kind of like a strength, 1v1 duke it out kind of for last hits matchup, which we see this kind of, I don't want to say all the time, but it's really common to see these strength 1v1 matchups. and I think both can do pretty decently up there. I think it might come down to maybe like an outplay, or who gets the better of the last hits. Maybe if one controls the top rune, and that could influence the matchup to a degree. But we might excuse me, my morning
It's still early,
throat
yeah.
is not up to
I'm
par
with you
yet, but
there.
we'll get there over time. We might see the lodestone build a little bit tankier, maybe into some sustain items. I know Riandro, because I've covered a lot of these guys play, of course. He likes to build into the early Shaman Cedrus when he's in a 1v1 matchup. And what that allows him to do is continuously sustain his HP while also constantly harassing with head smash. Whereas the Magnus, of course, he has that natural harass. As long as he gets the last hits, the volcanic touches will kind of pile up over time. So I think we'll see Lodestone try to bulk up, try to fight Magnus in the face. So he'll try to do that. And then in the 1v1 middle, Balfagor versus Electrician, I think Electrician could actually do quite well. We'll most likely see him max out the electric shield, try to deal with the corpses from Balfagor. Um, I think that's going to be, I don't want to say difficult for Balfagor to deal with, but normally Balfagor likes to go up against squishier targets where he can kind of soak the minions, just kind of heal up from harassment. And
Yeah.
then once he gets level 6, he does this ridiculous amount of burst. So, we got to be careful for level 6 Balfagor. That's always really scary, especially in the 1v1. But I don't think we'll see Electrician fall victim to that, at least early on. So Electrician should do just well in the mid lane. The tri-lane versus tri-lane, I think I favor Hellborn's tri-lane a little bit. I don't think Monkey King does all that good in the early levels. I think he will need some time before he kind of takes off the ground. Whereas the Malikan, he's got the sword throw from far away. And then they have the Monarch and the Engineer, which are really good supports here. Not to say the Andromeda and the Luna are not great supports, but I think the Hellborn supports do have a bit better control and damage assistance early on. So I think the Hellborn tri-lane in the early levels is going to be a little bit stronger. The Legion tri-lane going to need some time, but they need to utilize their pulls and try to get Monkey King a little bit of an XP advantage, I would say. And if they do end up doing that, I think that they could do just fine down here
Yeah.
in the bottom lane.
Looks like Riandro has reconnected, so it's just a matter of giving the go-ahead that we are good to go. Waiting for Discord, apparently. So,
Yeah, he's always griefing. That's my friend.
good
We
old
play
Riandro.
PUBG together sometimes, as well as Han. Good buddy of
Oh,
mine.
I'm sorry.
No, I called
What?
him a griefer.
You still
He's
play
al- he-
PUBG? I mean, there's so many better
every
games out
now
there
and
now.
then,
I feel like.
I like to dabble in some other games.
Well, of course, other games. Have you tried Halo yet recently?
I was never
New
big
Halo,
on Halo.
but the new one's pretty cool.
I'm sure it's a good game. I just never. Oh, we have the server being BM, of course.
Server unpaused. Perfect timing. I thought that was usually 10 minutes, actually. That's even like 5 minutes. Anyways. Server unpauses, but apparently we're good.
I thought so too, actually. Maybe it is shorter than that. That did not feel like 10 minutes anyway.
Maybe Element User's watching. He's like, I'm tired of this.
You guys need to play right now. We have a lot of games ahead of us today.
I control your fate.
Exactly.
Okay, so yeah, right now it's a 2-1-2 setup from Willowkeeper, but once they see the trial lane come in bottom, I assume we're going to see that quick change.
I like what Snooky's doing here on the Balfagor. He sends the little, I like to call them the cookies, because this is my favorite Balfagor skin, but he sends the corpse conversion down to the bot lane, trying to scout out the early laning stages from the opposing side here. I don't know if he actually spotted anyone or not, but the idea behind that was very good. So trying to give his team some information, seeing if they are going to be tri-lane versus tri-lane, or if they're running any dual lanes, of course.
Clantons, I assume it's been fixed by now, but just I have the stream up on the other screen here. The overlay is still up. It is fixed. Okay, just hey, I've been there before. I've been there plenty of times before.
I've done that too.
Actually, leaving that on, and 5 minutes later, 6 minutes later, you see chat, you're like, ah, crap. At least we're in a pause there. Okay, there it goes.
All right, so Breaky, I'll put you on the spot again. Again, you told me you've been playing Han, so your insight's going to be almost as good as mine. Who's getting the bloodlust kill?
Who's getting the bloodlust kill?
Or what? Well, I guess what lane are we going to see it in first? That's
I mean, it's going to be bottom lane. Like that's an easy
bottom
question.
lane. Okay, and then what hero is going to get bloodlusted?
I wouldn't be surprised, I guess, if it's engineer. Maybe for the long-range
Okay.
keg to finish the
Monkey
job,
King
or actually
takes a bow
potentially
there.
coming out right here. Monkey King, he's okay, and it's Fog gets it. Oh, it's Malakin with a sword, of course. Just a matter of who got that last ability in there. But, well, that's hell of a start for the Hellborn.
Oh yeah, so they already start to pull ahead in the tri-lane here. I talked about how this Hellborn tri-lane is arguably stronger early on. And what better hero than Malakin to get your bloodlust on? He's already up to 600 gold per minute. Now, of course, that's going to taper off in the next couple minutes, but he's going to get an early Marchers pick up here.
Down some of the sound effects on my side. As good as they are, they're a little loud over here. There we go. Want to be able to hear you as well, so.
Okay.
Okay, there we go. But yeah, so doing the pull right after the fact. I mean, Malakin though, obviously loving life right now. He's already at 500 plus GPM. It's not silly going to sustain at this point, but we'll have to start with that. Well, let's go. Monkey King's already contesting for some of these last hits, but he gets a little too close there. Takes a keg, as well as the Monarch crippling fallen, and still going to go back in and get some last hits in there. Has some supporting cast, but Andromeda's dead. I mean, she is in a horrible position right now. And almost playing a ward right there for the Monkey King to let him know if they're going to be going aggressive. So a bit of a sacrifice, but that's an early 2-0 start right now for Doghouse.
Yeah, and I would say more importantly than the kills, which, you know, the kills are amazing, is that Malakin's able to sit down here and farm. He's 11-3, Monkey King. I mean, he's 9-0, but he's been missing a bit. As bottom river, we have a kill there.
That's these supports. They are just. I know Malakin got the bloodlust, but this is all NG and Monarch right now, roaming and setting up a kill on the mid hero who's going for the rune. That is absolutely big. Engineer is getting low and will fall finally for the first death on the side of Doghouse, but they now have 4 kills in total as they get a trade there. But again, getting that mid kill too. The fact that they can have impact on both the bottom and the mid core, and not even 3 minutes into the game. Doghouse is just, this is a massive lead at this point.
Yeah, so with the death on Electrician, Balfagor was sitting in the mid lane the entire time. He didn't even move over, I believe, to the bot rune, as he currently doesn't really care about runes. He's not picking up a bottle just yet, or we'll have to see if he even does go into a bottle or not, but he's pulling ahead in creep farm as well, so even better start here for the Balfagor.
Bottom. Monarch, 1 hit away, Andromeda chasing, gets the last hit off, but at what cost for him? Okay, I guess he's fine. Aluna is going down, though, as well, so another trade for a trade, eye for an eye, fall, getting the last hit there on Malakin, and he will gladly take that. He's 2-0-1 right now, and sustaining that over 400 GPM. Has the good old 1-1-1 build, proven to be very potent, very powerful for Malakin. And the fact that Malakin has this core brings that range damage with the sword throw, and especially if he goes, of course, in the plus damage form, then we see right there, even using that as a harassment tool, but excellent finisher as well. And perhaps why it probably was the obvious choice to go for that bloodlust skill initially, as he got.
So top lane, we haven't really talked about that lane, so before the action picks up once again, we have 24-2 Lodestone against 22-0 Magnus. Again, this is kind of to be expected, really back and forth, as, well, he actually misses the Lava Surge up there.
Yeah.
Sorry, Nede, as we were talking about you guys, but we see Lodestone pick up the Life Tube, so he is doing what I said he would most likely do, which is pick up some sustain, and then on the counter side we have Magnus picking up the bottle. So he's trying to control the runes, Lodestone trying to sustain himself against the Volcanic Touch harassment.
Yeah. That was, you know, I don't think he was going to get the kill if he hits that stun, but that's a lot of damage he missed out on right there for missing that stun. Oh, the low stun, 220 damage of magic at that level 3 ability. But
I am surprised he's put a point in Steam Bath. I think he would have rather liked to have had more in Volcanic Touch to kind of continue to put out more harassment. I don't feel like he's going to really be using the Steam Bath up here in this 1v1. So it is a little bit curious to me why he did go ahead and spec that, but he is going to be missing out on a little extra harassment potential there.
Either way, he does harass the low stun P on the tower, and feeling pretty cozy about what he's doing. But how is that CS up there? It's 20-3 Lodestone compared to the 30-2 Magnus. Magnus, that is, as middle lane Electrician. Crippling Pollen, here comes Balfour, has Hell on Newerth, gonna do the spit in the face. Hell on Newerth, it might not use it just yet, he's still a little tanky on the electrician, and a little ports in with the red stun. But look at Balfour, he's got an early energizer, he wants it. There's the Hell on Newerth, the Cookie Monsters are out, and they end up getting the double kill for the team. That port from Luna proves to be the death of her, and still the death of Electrician. Doghouse is just on point all across the board right now.
So something I want to point out there, and I feel like it's something worth mentioning, is the patience of Balfagor there. He saw the port coming in, and he didn't immediately use his ultimate, right? He could have went for that solo kill right away. The patience and the presence of mind to recognize, hey, we can maybe get 2 kills here. I'm going to hold off on using my ultimate. As we see a kill there in the bot river. Haste and Monkey King. That's a nice rune for him. So serial killer streak picked up by the Andromeda, but recognizing that he could pick up a second kill, and it's those small little details that you really like to see at this high level of play.
Andromeda, speaking of small details, Balfagor doing the whole, he's farming mid, but his minions are assisting for a kill on the bottom lane, doing some great blocking on the Andromeda, allowing Engineer to chase him down and secure that kill as well. So Balfagor's Snooki, you mentioned, or Snooki, excuse me, a very comfortable pick for Snooki, albeit not the most popular for most.
Bottom lane?
And we're showing why. Bottom lane, Monkey King gonna have to lose some dash defensively, gets out of there, but he does not have a lot of life to work with. He may need to go all the way back at this point, or I suppose pick up a health potion at least from the observatory, but there is a ward here that will spot him doing so, and these supports, with how active they've been, I wouldn't be surprised as I say that they are heading right over there. Andromeda cuts them off, but that might be the death of Andromeda now, though. Looks dash back here from Monkey King, going back in. The Crystals on Malakin immediately takes it off, but he got a nice heal out of it as well as some damage reduction. Engineer taking that common stun, but Monkey King gonna be frozen in place by the Crippling Pollen once again. A sword thrown through, and Monkey King one hit away, but Malakin poured it with the sword. He could have got that auto attack, it looked like, but instead he poured it through. They killed Andromeda. You see Engineers trying to live, and he will live.
No.
The man up against Luna gets the kill for Doghouse yet again. So they didn't get the Monkey King, but they got both the supports, and those are those mana batteries coming into play.
Oh, that's so unfortunate if you're a Luna. There was so many heroes he was trying to get a counter kill on, and they just barely stayed alive. It was really great to watch.
Oh, Leandro's dead. That was an eruption used.
Yep, so they get the kill there on the lodestone. They now jump out to a 12-3 hero kill lead. And, well, if we look at the gold per minute charts early on, it's looking all to be Doghouse. Even the second support Engineer, he's up there with the highest farmer from the Legion side. He's tied with the lodestone, up at about 275 or so gold per minute. So that's pretty scary, Breaky.
That is already having that Whispering Helm. Now, as you say this, Malakin goes down for the first time this game. So raid boss down. That's Boo is my boy, taking that bounty as well. And they also kill the Skeleton King, which is actually pretty significant, right? Because that Whispering Helm, the cooldown, that's quite a long cooldown. You see it's still cutting down 340 plus seconds that he's going to have on it. He just used it to get that Skeleton King. So actually fairly significant, because also that's great for stacking, especially for somebody like Malakin, and at least slowing him down somewhat. So a little bit of signs of life for Willowkeeper. Not to overstate what just happened there, but hey, at least it's some kind of positive, but it's still 6,000 lead for the Tire side, dude, for the Hellboard side. As Andromeda got on there, Lodestone, Monarch gonna put himself in the egg, and comes out though, and will survive for now. Luna can't chase him down enough. As they say, that gets one more auto attack. The power though, yes, will snipe out the Monarch to finish the job. But Malakin, he just runs to the mid lane. He's gonna farm over there now.
So, previous to this fight, we had Balfagor push to tier 1 mid, and he also rotated up to the top lane, which was very quickly, by the way. They took out 2 towers in like a span of, I want to say 40 seconds, or well, 3 in total in a span of like a minute and a half. So, the gold lead all of a sudden, with 3 towers at their disposal, they're all the way up to 9,000 gold per minute here at 10 minutes. That's a really early gold lead.
Yeah, that's when you have 1,000 gold lead per minute in a game, I would say you're looking pretty good about your chances right now. Never one to put too much of a doomsay on a team, but I mean this this Legion side, it's a rough go right now. I mean, they are gonna have electrician farming these stacks in the jungle, but yeah, as you're saying, bottom lane, Monkey King, that means he's by himself as the supports are helping electrician, and that's a Magnus coming over.
Look what Magnus has, Breaky.
Yeah, that PK. Good time in there. Valkyrie top lane, Lodestone. Is he dead again? Yeah, he just literally just W's him, demonic pathogen, and then runs him down back to the bottom lane. They're fighting again. And then Andromeda falls. They might get a turn kill on Magnus. Will they actually? Yeah, probably not.
From the energy field on electrician.
And now they're going to turn on Luna once again. The keg's done. Its engineer might actually fall. Yeah, so finally goes down. So Luna actually survives there too. And they had to use quite a bit, but the Legion side, excuse me, does it. However, you look at Balfagor during all this, you mentioned earlier, he's playing his own game, really. And it's working out beautifully for Willowkeeper, or Doghouse side.
Yeah, so they're making a lot of pressure on the bottom portion of the map, and this is allowing Snooki to kind of just be, I like to call it, he's being a nuisance up here. He's just making pressure. As we see Monarch snipes out a Luna next to the base. Big find there from Dude, as that's going to be another kill going their way, but they have to adjust this Balfagor, so we see a lot of rotations up here to kind of thwart his pushes on the base tower.
Luna doesn't even have boots yet. It's just rough for him right now at this point in the game. But with what's been happening, it's understandable as well. But not only the Whispering Helm finish, but that's an Insanitarius already picked up by Malakin too. So it feels like it just keeps getting worse. He's just really pumping up that strength build and already feeling like an unkillable target at this rate. And speaking about killable, I mean, Balfagor basically is with Plated Greaves as well as Gnome's Wisdom to go with the early Energizer that we had mentioned too. So a lot of these initial early to mid game items are popping up here for Doghouse, making the task of Willowkeeper that much more difficult.
We didn't get a chance to mention it, but he went for the really early Energizer, even before boots, and that was what allowed him to pick up that early double tap in the mid lane. And since then, he's built into Plated Greaves and Gnome's Wisdom, so now he's just naturally really tanky. The only realistic way they can deal with him, as we have initiation bottom, energy field is down, that might deter any chase, but they're continuing to fight here.
Yeah, misses the keg stun, so in fact, Engineer, oh no, the stun by Magnus though comes out. Andromeda manages to live in with Monkey here, flopping around. Will take out Magnus in the end. The snipe attempt on Engineer is just
Balfagor's almost brought down the tier 3 tower. This is a 13-minute base tower here. That is not something to overlook here.
He is hella Newerth.
Mass ports coming in. He might actually be able to turn this around. They are not very tanky on the opposing side.
Yeah,
so
he uses it right there.
Ultimate to kind of get himself the safety net of not being ran down here. So understandable. I
mean, and that's perfect. Yeah, he doesn't get any kills, but literally all 5 players on the Radiant, keeps you Radiant, on the Legion side were there, and they can't do anything about it in the end. He just walks off as if nothing happened. So, yeah, I still think that's absolutely big for Doghouse, of course, as they now increased to nearly a 13,000 goal lead. I mean, I think we're at the point now. What you got is like, I mean, we got to stop trying to act like there's hope here for Willowkeeper, because frankly, it just doesn't feel like there is.
Yeah, I mean, Monkey King, he's doing his best here. He's on 350 gold per minute as I see Luna get picked off there. The vision control from Hellboy with the Legion Kong area is really strong, so he gets spotted out alone. But, you know, they have the Portal Key Magnus very early. They have Balfagor building toward a Staff of the Master. Malakin went for an early item game build as well to kind of close out this game. I really like the Elder Incense pickups. So they're going to have this Rax get taken out here most likely.
That's a big fight. Just run them down. The span. There's a hell of Newerth at the last second. All 4 are dead. Luna, say all 4 Luna was going there, but got there too late by the time she was. Her team was already dead. So yeah, Malakin, you know, may have taken some damage, but you mentioned with the other Parasite, he has an Sanitarius draining a bit of his life as well. But with the life essence kicking in, he's more than fine. So now this is just complete game finishing mode by Doghouse. Now they're all grouped up together with these mid-tier items already, and they're just gonna push. And you are not stopping the snow. They just do not have the inventory to stop this death push here. The Stay Green pain train coming out.
Yeah, look at how fast the base tower is falling. I mean, this is 15 minutes into the game. You know, it's really difficult. They're gonna try though. Here's the Shatter Storm being channeled on Goldstone, but triple line stun from the Magnus.
No.
Defensive kick from Engineer as well. They really want this rack. You can even see the energy field kind of more of defensive than offensive. Monkey King, he's going in.
Chinky!
Might get taken out now.
He's distracting. He's like, please run me down. Yes, save our pace. Oh no, indeed. That's exactly what they're screaming out right now for Willowkeeper. The oh no, because I think game 2 is upon us, and we're going to see a 1-0 lead for Doghouse. But yeah, not giving in just yet. Still acting like there's some hope left. Slow stun to distract there, but another beautiful 3 lava surge stun by Magnus. He ends up going down a little bit too deep right there as he dove with that PK. But I think Doghouse, they're just having fun with it now. They got that 23,000 network lead. So I see a lot of people pointing out in chat as there is the actual concede vote. But Monarch, why did you not ban Monarch? What are you thinking? Me personally, my reaction to that is I don't know if Monarch won this game off the bat. This felt like a lot more than just a Monarch pick.
Yeah.
Winning the game for Doghouse here.
No, definitely. I think we got to give a lot of credit to Balfagor this game, as well as Magnus. He got his early portal key. I think the fact that Balfagor was able to rotate in the top lane and set up the kill on Lodestone, that kind of secured Magnus getting his early blink, as well as pushing. I talked about how they got those 3 towers, kind of in a span of like a minute and a half. That's, I mean, they did win the tri lane and the bot lane, but that's more or less where the snowball started to kick in. So the fact that they were able to get those early towers as well as get Magnus's blink, that kind of just got the ball rolling for Hellborn. And well, you could say Monarch was a big part of that, but she is to kind of answer your theory there. Monarch is kind of like a tier 1 support right now, very, very powerful. But I think I have to agree with you. She isn't necessarily the reasons for why Doghouse is looking so good here in game 1.
God, there's a couple things I want to bring up too. This armor the Man Mage picked up by Malik. And honestly, this is a new. I had not actually seen this game.
Oh, he's got the ding ding. Will he find the big opening here? He's got the staff, by the way, picked up on Balfagor. This could be a lot of kills if he lines it up.
Do it.
There it is. Oh, there's the Hell on Newerth quad kill coming out from Snooki. That's the icing on the cake, because that will most likely follow up with a concede vote, or well, the World Tree probably might go down the old-fashioned way. There, make it a 9. Go ahead, Breaky, take over.
There's the annihilation.
Yes, thank you, Breaky.
So something tells me Willowkeeper kind of helped them a little bit right there to make that happen. The fact that they didn't actually concede it, kind of running out of there. But still impressive and always fun to see. Hell, Newerth, I still stand by. I said it before. It's one of the more fun animations in the game. It definitely feels really good when you get a big one off like that. So, but yeah, so I was gonna say too. Kind of, this doesn't really matter anymore. But something I found interesting there, but actually makes sense. You had mentioned the Elder Parasite and Sanitarius build on Malikan, so he broke up the Whispering Helm to make those 2 items. Essentially,
I'm glad you caught that, because I actually missed that he did that.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say, is that a popular thing, or is that just something he did this game? But it sounds like it's just kind of something he did on the fly here. So.
I think it's a really heads up like thought process to do, because it's something that I probably would have forgot, that you can actually break the Whispering Helm, because it doesn't have a recipe. Any item in Han that doesn't have a recipe, you can break the components up. Really heads up decision by Father, because what the Elder allowed him to do was just kind of enhance his damage output for a really like cheap option, and he didn't necessarily need to do any kind of hard farming this game. Just go with his team, secure the Raxes, and kind of close out the game. So I really liked the Elder into Insan, and I'm glad that you brought up that he actually broke his Whispering Helm, because I actually did miss that. So that was really good presence of mind.
Especially when the Whispering Helm's on cooldown like that, you don't have your minion. It's like a majority of the item is kind of useless. So you're like, let's just make it something better. So
yeah, no, it definitely made a lot of sense what he did there, and I had missed that. So that was a good spot by you. But I think we covered game 1 from top to bottom. It was more or less kind of a snowball factor. Laning phase went really well for Hellborn. The laning phase transitioned into the tower pushes. The tower pushes concluded the game kind of rather quickly. So Doghouse takes a 1-0 lead, and I think we're going to be starting with game 2 pretty shortly. So before we,
Well, I'm saying looking forward to it. I kind of wonder if they're going to ban Balfagor because to me, like we're talking about the Monarch there. I don't know if it's, I think the Balfagor is actually something you really got to think about banning if you're Willowkeeper because yeah, I am 100% with you that as you were saying that he seemed like he was the momentum there. So, all right, but I believe yeah, we're gonna get game 2 set up. So let's go ahead and go to that break. But ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We'll be back on BreakyCPK. Talking about what you got. ClanTour 3.0 continues semifinals. 1-0 lead for Doghouse. We'll be back with game number 2.
Here.
I need my bacon. Oh, we're back. All right, game number 2. Here we go. The ClanTour 3.0 coming at you on BreakyCPK, joined by what you got. And we got game 2. Game 1, a pretty quick one to say the least. Obviously, pretty decisive victory for Doghouse, swapping sides as they're now on the Legion side. And of course, Willowkeeper on the Hellborn side. Do my best to actually get these names right. So we're talking about, what can you maybe do to adjust? As always in a series, going from game 1, what does specifically the losing team do to adjust? And starts with that draft. And Balfagor ban was of something to think about at least. And I think Willowkeeper has thought about it. They're like, yes, we're going to ban Balfagor right off the bat. Not going to give it a shot. They also go Dr. Repulsor, Oogie, and Witchslayer, the other bands. And again, there's a lot of mention of Monarch. I wonder if he's going to make it through or not, or it, Monarch, them. I don't know what they are, but anyways, we'll see.
Yeah, so the Balfagor ban, I think that's to no surprise. That one kind of dominated game 1. Understandable. And there's the last ban of Monarch now. Legion has first pick. I think did it Doghouse actually have first pick last game? So they actually got
They
first pick 2
did. They
games in a
first picked the
row.
Monarch. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so that
That's
kind of they're gonna go ahead and ban the Monarch, which I like the Monarch ban there. And the rest of the bans, Oogie, Witchslayer, and Sir Bensington. The Witchslayer ban, I guess, is a little standout. The Oogie ban, we don't usually see blind ban, but we definitely know the power of Oogie. The hero is really scary, so if you're not comfortable with dealing with him or don't really want to address him, makes sense to ban him, I guess. The Doctor Repulsor ban is more of a standout, kind of like the Balfagor ban. They're not your traditional blind bans, but against Doghouse, it makes sense to ban Doctor because they just run it so well. It's one of those heroes that even if you do adjust it a little bit, you leave it alone for just long enough, the hero just kind of takes over the game. So I can understand not wanting to play against either the Balfagor or the Doctor Repulsor. So the bans make a lot of sense here from that perspective. First pick Engineer. I'm sure you like Engineer Breaky. He's always fun to watch. We didn't see any mine traps, I think, last game, which was a little
true.
disappointing, but we got more day ahead of us. We could
Well,
maybe see some mine traps.
I think Mind Traps to work, the team needs to be kind of pushing your side of the map, right? But that wasn't
Right.
happening. They were just Doghouse was the one doing the pushing, and so I think that's one of the main reasons why we didn't see that. But look at
Yeah,
these
no,
couple of
that's a good
picks.
point.
Both Draconis and Tremble were banned last game, by the way, and because of some different bans. We got Doghouse picking up both of those heroes, and I was going to mention. Honestly, Draconis, I feel like I've already seen enough of this hero. This hero feels really stupid strong and
He's
annoying to play against. So I do not feel good for Willowkeeper right now.
so Draconis. I'm trying to remember the last time you casted. I think maybe it was a few months ago. You can correct me if I'm
Yeah,
wrong about that.
3 or 4
But we
months
have
ago.
had a
Yeah,
few balance patches in between. That's what I'm getting at here. Is Draconis? He's seen some changes to his fiery barrage, so he doesn't necessarily farm stacked as quickly, but definitely still farms really fast. Might be a little bit slower than what you remember, but this hero, what I do want to say is this hero is still really scary. If you leave him alone, he farms incredibly fast still. He does lots of AoE damage. He
is he
comes
jungle?
so yeah, I didn't I was gonna mention he can be jungle, of course. He's still that's what his kind of primary role is. But Doghouse likes to run him in the lane, at least initially. And we saw them run this same style of lineup with Tremble and Draconis yesterday. So what they did in that game, now I don't know if they'll do the same thing here. They did run the Tremble mid and they ran the Draconis long lane with a rally and then got him a good start had the jungle stacked by one of the supports, and then he flew down to the jungle, took out the stacks, and he was like level 12 by 12 minutes. So he started to get really scary really fast. And you know, while this was going on, they had other heroes to adjust. They had a Tremble, they had a Blacksmith. So you know, you can focus on one guy, but there's always going to be the other guys that you got to watch out for as well. So they have the multi-core here once again with the Tremble. But I do want to talk about Willowkeeper's lineup also because they have almost finished their draft. So they started it off with Master of Arms and Nymphora, two heroes that I think are very, very good supports right now. You have the defensive capabilities of the Nymph Pod and the Global Masters Call, which makes your lineup a lot harder to break through. So two kind of offensive slash defensive supports. They have the minus armor from the acid bomb. They haven't paired it with anything really well. I would say there's no physical presence yet, so I do hope that fifth pick brings some damage to the table. But they do have a Magmus and a Lord Salforus, so it looks like we'll be seeing core Magmus this game. I would be surprised to see a position 1 Master of Arms, but we'll have to wait and see. But the Salforus, a great pick in the meta. It's really tanky, does lots of damage. You typically stick him in the mid lane, but he can really go honestly anywhere. But I'm expecting this to be Magma's core and Master and Nymph supports here. Fifth pick should most likely be a physical presence carry. So a second core to match Legion's second core. They do go with a Gemini, so more of a magic damage kind of carry, but he will pick up later in the game with physical presence. And then we had the Pharaoh and Flux, I think, final picks from Doghouse. So they have Engineer Flux combo, which I'm sure you remember. That's always fun.
It's pretty
Actually, there was a Flux ban last game because they had the Balfagor picked up. So they do pick up a Flux here. And then Pharaoh for some kind of early game initiation, set up for the Draconis and the Tremble to kind of come in and wreak havoc. Really nice lineups, I would say, from both sides, top to bottom. I want to get your take. Is there like a lineup that you like a little bit more, or do you think these are kind of like evenly balanced lineups from both sides?
Well, so you always look for first kind of themes of lineups on either side, and to me, the overall theme, not the ultimate, like that's just all it is, but the overall theme is that wombo combo setup because you have the Flux NG alone. That's already bringing that to the table for the Legion side. Even Pharaoh can assist with that, and Draconis especially can assist with that damage-wise. By the way, they're just running down mid here on the Legion side, so yeah, they're going to get that mound down for Tremble in the mid lane, and they're going to take over mid lane early on. But Hellborn team is they have some global presence. Of course, Nymphora starting of that. They got the Master of Arms ultimate. They have some reach with Gemini, even with the split or the twin fangs, I guess. They kind of the reach on top of you. So that's their thing. That's what they got going. So they got that ganking presence.
Are you watching this, by the way? They're using keg stuns on trees and the mounds to destroy all the trees. So whoever goes mid lane doesn't have an easy access to using blights, which is really funny because Engineer actually tanked 1 or 2 tower hits, and we thought Willowkeeper was starting to move over, but well, as we can see, there's not going to be a clash at level 1, but it was still kind of funny to see that.
I mean, that's clever. It's just clever stuff like that. You love to see still people innovating on, and here we are 10 plus years later of this freaking game being out. And yeah, I don't know if I've ever really seen this idea before myself of just clearing out the middle trees as a team early on, but that they do. So Lord Salforus is going to be a bit annoyed by that in the laning phase, but he's still a Lord Salforus, and I'm sure he'll still be fine in the end. But yeah, having to go against Tremble in that mid matchup, Draconis is setting up in the jungle right off the bat.
Yeah. So that's I think due to them picking that last pick Pharaoh. They didn't really have that hero that has the flexibility to be ran as a second support. I mentioned the Rally, a hero that could either be ran as an offlaner or a support. Pharaoh, he kind of needs to be put in a core role to kind of do his job. So they will be forced to kind of run the jungle Draconis this game, as they would have 4 cores otherwise. And you know, it's kind of interesting that Willowkeeper didn't really pick up on that, because I feel like they could have ran an offensive tri-lane this game with their 2 supports and the Gemini in the long lane to kind of pressure the Draconis more with the supports. So more or less they're kind of giving up farm to the greedier lineup, I would say, that Doghouse has, running the jungle versus the non-jungle lineup. So I feel like this lane setup initially is going to favor Doghouse, as they will get a little bit more farm, but more importantly, the experience on top of the 4 heroes that want that good start from the side of Doghouse here.
Some good lane control coming out, specifically on the Legion side of the bottom lane. Been watching that, trying to open up all that farm for Flux. Magnus doing what he can. He is level 2 at least, but doing what he can to get some farm in too. But Engineer making his life difficult. In the meantime, I was going to say, where's that Nymphora maybe roaming about, and he's currently roaming towards the bottom. By the way, Tremble got really low right there. He ends up surviving,
Yeah,
but Nymphora's looking for Draconis. Draconis. This is going to be an early
Oh,
kill.
Let's
kill this guy. Auto attack. Oh, no. Make loves like, are you kidding me? Where did he come from?
Yeah, so he ends up getting very low there. Now, I could honestly be very critical here because I'm a jungle player and I love me some Draconis. I don't want to say he's farming the wrong camp at that time, but what I would have been doing at that point was stacking up the 2 middle camps. Getting them triple stacked, so I feel like he shouldn't actually have been low on HP. It is a little bit unfortunate, but they're gonna find Nymphora here, and there's a DD Engineer who lands the keg there. Really nice counter kill coming in, so he gets some revenge. Actually Engineer gets credit for that one.
Yeah, but still gets, as you mentioned, some revenge. And to that point, the middle camps, they are being stacked, I believe, by the Engineer from before. He'll eventually get to them, but yeah, so as you're just saying, you probably would have just done those earlier on and maybe not taking as much damage, because that's exactly what could happen. So good heads up by Nymphora happening to find him, but Draconis maybe learning his lesson from there, has a bottle now, and is going to continue to farm these camps. But there are triple stacks now on both middle camps because of that Engineer, so dude is certainly doing his part as a support.
Yeah, I feel like the Engineers had to make maybe a little bit too much, what's the word I'm trying to say here? Like too much presence in the jungle, whereas he could be focusing more on either pulling for the Flux here and kind of controlling the Magnus's experience a little bit better. I don't know if that's due to inexperience of Draconis not knowing the more optimal rotations and whatnot, but he could very easily be level 6 right now. Whereas he's currently level 4. So I have to be critical, Breaky. I'm a jungler. It's just my nature.
Do it. Get on him.
I love these players. It's not like to attack them or anything. It's just I see the little inefficiencies, and it's one of those things where when you're nitpicky, you want to see stuff really executed really well, especially at this high level. But
yeah,
he's gonna pick up his farm now anyway. He has the 2 triples to work on, so this will get him to level 6. So just a little bit behind where I would have personally wanted him to be, but once he gets to level 6, he's going to be able to, whenever he chooses, kind of make rotations into any of the lanes. So that's always nice to see as well.
To that point, I mean, the death early on, obviously big for the Hellborn team getting that bloodlust, but even with that, yeah, he's level 6. He's just takes all this massive stack here, and he's like, it's like he's recovered. He's more than fine. He's up there with 300 plus GPM. Should the Hellborn team be doing more to constantly harass him, or is there only so much you can do, I guess?
So, and that kind of goes back, so to answer your question, that goes back to further my point that I feel like Willowkeeper did not recognize the nature of Legion's lineup from top to bottom. As we see middle lane, the Ensnare coming in from Tremble, here comes the Draconis with the Volcano, and he doesn't have mana for the Dragon Flame. I'm a little surprised he didn't use the bottle sip there. We have the counters coming in from the Hellborn side. Gemini is here. Will he get the last auto attack? The slow's coming in from Tremble, and they're gonna turn it around, Breaky. A double tap comes out for Tremble. A kill on the Draconis. That's 3-for-0 swing.
The tunnel vision wanting to kill that Draconis. Oh boy, that was a disaster for Willowkeeper right there. Obviously a great rotation initially from Draconis, mentioning at level 6 and doing what he does best, of flying around the map and setting up a kill elsewhere. But it should have just been that at that point. The chase got real, and it returns a backfire. And Tremble, he's fine.
This, actually.
Yeah. No stun. That's a downside of Lord Self-Force, but it's always been the case. He does not have crowd control.
He even uses the Dark Swarm in the base, kind of mitigating some of the damage, I believe, so he will be fine. That burns a 1-minute cooldown on the Self-Force. So yeah, to kind of go back to the point we were talking about previous to that that big fight that Legion had, they're allowing the Draconis to farm by not running this offensive kind of tri-lane, which would allow their supports to kind of move into the Legion jungle a little bit easier and kind of just, even if they don't kill the Draconis, just kind of make him aware of their presence, stop him from farming kind of deal. Whereas in the top lane, you have that solo Pharaoh, you could very easily just stick like the Magnus, for example, up there in a 1v1 where he would do very well. So I feel like Willowkeeper didn't necessarily read the lineup very well from Doghouse, and thus we're seeing Doghouse kind of make good use of the early laning stage. Top lane, kill on the Pharaoh kind of happen here.
Okay. And I'm also watching Lord South Forest. He's taking out a couple of triple stacks himself here with the assistance of Nymphora. So Koget is going to do a good job as far as recovering in some farm after that death, slowed him down a bit. But, I mean, you look at the GPM, he is competing with the best of the best. The unfortunate thing is it's him versus the 3 cores on the other side that are all 400 GPM plus right now, including that Flux, who we haven't talked much about, but 420 plus go for benefit for Snooki. And Flux has absolute free farm at this bottom lane right now. Currently sitting on about 1,000 more gold. So curious, are we going to see maybe the portal key coming out from Flux, you think, just to really get on top of that initiation?
You know, it's funny because Flux is one of those heroes where I feel like you can build him many different ways, and there's a lot of ways to play him. You could definitely bulk him up with something like an early Astrolabe or Insanitarius, depending on whether he wants to be offensive or defensive. As we see, Magnus getting caught here in the mid lane. I think that was, actually no, he did not have the Hive Mind from Tremble, so he perhaps got caught with the stun down maybe. Nymphora gonna throw out a Zeal stun, but Engineer's here, so this could potentially be a kill. Very nice turret coming in from Dude. He actually misses the keg, but it doesn't end up mattering. But yeah, really nice turret placement.
Oh no.
Like to see that.
Draconis is here too, but now Draconis actually needs to be careful. The Undying's put on him. Lord South Forest obviously can turn. Oh, Pharaoh misses his initiation there. It might not matter though. Draconis, or they still get the kill onto the well, Lord South Forest right there, and they just kill everyone else. How about that? They just wipe out the team essentially, as Gemini and Magnus also fall. So the teamwork just on point from Doghouse, as if they're just continual momentum from game number 1, exactly how they finished it. And it's going to get even better. Master of Arms, by the way, goes down over here, caught in the jungle nearby. So suddenly it's a 7,000 net worth lead right now, gold lead even, for Doghouse. It just feels like in the blink of an eye, it just accelerates like crazy. And Doghouse, they just see him on another level in general in this series.
Yeah, so at this like 7 to 12 minute mark, like the post early laning phase stages, this is where we start to see the heroes kind of utilizing their ultimates, making those rotations, and starting to kind of further themselves the lead, you know, once that they have done well in the laning stage. And Doghouse is arguably the best at this. They really recognize their strengths, where they can make these kills happen, and they just kind of swarm you out of nowhere. They outnumber you, and they pick you off one by one with their excellent coordination. It's really nice to see how Doghouse executes their lineup more or less flawlessly. You know, I was a little bit critical of Draconis, of course. I have to be, but as we have a kill in the top lane, Draconis trying to get a counter kill. Meanwhile, mid lane we have some action, so...
well, kinda. Tremble's just toying with it.
He actually got hit with the Undying, but he cancels his mount port there. Looks like he wants to go back in.
Oh, this is why.
In the area.
Oh, Engineer doesn't have mana for his ultimate, though. He actually used too much mana right there to put down his field. However, they still get the kill on Nymphora, and Fob manages to survive.
Oh, here's the
throughout
mine,
all of the SLA peel, and the
yeah.
mine going down, and down goes the Lord South Forest yet again. They really are just toying with them, man. It feels like that on the side of Doghouse.
Yeah, they were actually trying to bait. They had a few mines down in the jungle there, but it almost gave me deja vu of a particular quad kill that was once to be had, but not going to have as many mines there to make kind of a similar highlight, unfortunately. But yeah, to kind of go back to the point, Doghouse is just really good at this. They really know how to execute their lineup, find those kills, and kind of overwhelm you. And we can kind of see Willowkeeper more or less. It almost feels like they're unsure whether to take certain fights. They're not like fully committed or in the right places at the right time. And Doghouse just really capitalizing on that. They now jump out to a really large lead here, kind of similar to game 1, 10,000 gold lead at 10 minutes. You pointed out 1,000 gold per minute. That's a lot of gold to have on your team at 10 minutes in advantage. As we could see an initiation here mid lane.
Nymphora running into a death trap, doesn't even realize it yet, but gonna find out very quickly. This is not where you want to be for Slasky. It's doing a good job of surviving as long as possible, but the end is inevitable, and Make Love 83 will finish the job on Draconis. He's got that soul trap, got the Energizer, and of course those Ghost Marchers. So Draconis, of course, making the best. His farm, he's not even top farm in the game. That belongs to the Tremble. We saw the Astrolabe already coming into play in the earlier fight. So really just building this team bulky item, similar to the Balfagor that he did last game too with the Gnome's Wisdom, etc. That seems to kind of be the theme here of the Legion
Bottom
side
lane?
now in Doghouse. Bottom lane, the Wrath of the Pharaoh though to help, and they're going to survive on Flux. The turn is in fact happening on Magnus. The Undying up on Flux, so he's being a little careful here. But they can turn Lord Self-Force now, although Nymphoria has something to say about it. Ports in and finishes the job, and they kill Pharaoh. So at least a little bit of positive for Willowkeeper finally happening.
Yeah, so they get a couple of kills down there, which is good for Willowkeeper. I'm just a little hesitant that it might be a little bit too late. I feel like this lead might have grown to be too large. We currently have all 3 of the top farmers, even the engineer. I mean, Breaky, this is the second support engineer, almost 400 gold per minute at 12 minutes. That's incredibly impressive. That's their main support, by the way, who the offlane Pharaoh actually is sporting the 200 mark, but just showing the presence of what engineer has been able to accomplish this game. As we see a mine trap gonna take out the Nymphoria. I was gonna mention that before I was rambling on, but only gonna be the 1 kill there, but still nice to see. We do see some mine traps here in game 2 starting.
All right, so at least he gets that 1 kill. Now they will take out the Draconis as they're moving as a team now on the side of Willowkeeper, and for good reason, because Doghouse is pretty far pushed up on the side of the Willowkeeper base.
Does he actually make this juke? Oh my dude is just that's such a heads up presence of mind. Great use of game mechanics, going through the trees there. Magnus is gonna look for him, but you know, unfortunate for him, he's just a little too late. And a really nice board out from the engineer there.
Great escape, so he keeps his GPM up there, does dude. It continues to do a fantastic job. So losing the dragon, but again, you look at what it took as well. It took basically the whole team roaming together, as going back to that point on Willowkeeper, which in turn, you know, reduces your overall team farm. And even though with the kill, the lead is still pretty big for the side of Doghouse. But it also goes back to the point too that Doghouse can afford this. They've just taken over the map. On the side of Willowkeeper, similar to last game. I mean, you see Tremble offensively farming in the Hellborn jungle right now, with Pharaoh just kind of babysitting him nearby because he can. He feels unkillable really at this point as he shield. Wrath of the Pharaoh gonna catch Magnus, but it's a quick stun out, and Lava Surge will keep him alive. But they're not done yet. They want to keep chasing Master of Arms. Gonna realize
Tremble
that.
just got his Elder Parasite delivered. We have Nymph TP coming in from Hellborn, so they're gonna bring all 5 players up here. We're gonna have a clash.
We are Tremble up in the swarm, trying to stay alive. Astrolabe heal goes up, but it's not enough. The turn is real for the side of Willowkeeper. That Cataclysm's not going to matter either. There's 3 dead on the Legion side, and it might be more. Lord Self-Force chasing, although I decide it might be more. It's going to be more for the side of Doghouse. What a turn from Flux and Enchi. That's the combo right there, even with just them 2. They get a double tap and a hat trick between them. That equals an annihilation. And the wipeout favoring Doghouse. Oh, boy. I mean, I thought for sure Willowkeeper was coming out on top there, but just enough of the wombo combo left to make the turn.
It was looking really nice for Willowkeeper initially. They got both the Tremble and the Draconis down kind of early on in the team fight. And we saw kind of the amount of sustain that Hellborn has when they're grouped up. They have the Nymph Pod, the Master's Call, and, you know, Self-Force just naturally being tanky in his own right with his Dark Lord's presence healing him up and whatnot. But, man, that NG Flux combo, that kind of just deterred the whole, you know, good nature of that early engagement. And, yeah, it was really fun to watch them kind of clean up the rest of the Willowkeeper team at the end there.
I love this mind trap. He's putting on another one over here. Somebody's gonna run into it, you just know it. Master of Arms, by the way, he finds a trap, he finds 2 heroes, but I mean, we see the combo of the heroes before, but without the ultimates, is it gonna matter? The Keck stun hits, but it doesn't matter. Flux goes down despite killing Master of Arms. He's trying to lead them.
He's gotta live long enough.
Oh, there they go. There they go. Is he gonna kill Lords of Force? No, they didn't go on top. Oh man, they gotta get really close to them. Jeez. As we're not done just yet.
Bring the creeps.
Throw those in. The creeps. Oh, the creeps. Nymphoria, it's like Nymphoria knows, or Self-Force. They just barely, okay, there we go. Oh, it's not enough damage. 1 more would have done it. They are going to catch the Nymphoria, though, and get him. But it's kind of funny. They're fighting around these mines at the base. And, well, are you kidding me? Draconis pushed down the volcano to kill Magnus in the base as well. That was quite the exchange there.
They actually had a word of revelation, as you and me are kind of getting really hyped for this mine trap. They could actually see
Okay,
on the
they
uphill the
did.
mines were placed downhill, so that's why they were actually avoiding those. We were like, come on, step into it, but no, they were aware of the mines being there the whole time, so they were playing around that very appropriately. But it was fun, the attempt at least, as Engineer was like doing his best to be like, come here, come get me. There's the creep wave attacking me, but they didn't fall for it. Flexible mid lane.
Flux. Yep, that's the ultimate use. Lord South Forest, live tap. He is a very difficult target to take down, but they're up for the task and they come through. And they also catch Nymphora, who came in to support. So, a couple more kills. That lead continues to grow. They're going to get the tier 2 tower in the mid lane. We are seeing a little bit of progress on the side of Willowkeeper. Want to try to give them some hope here as you got a couple light bringers, light brands even, excuse me, coming out for both Gemini and Lord South Forest. In fact, Gemini, he's going to be now building into the Firebrand. So, trying to get that combo. The eventual Dawnbringer, I wouldn't be surprised, but in the meantime, their Kongor is going down. It's going to be a non-stop Kongor, and will they rotate to their own Kongor after this? Possibly, and we know what happens with that. That's that super buff that they then get.
Yeah, they'll get the Kongor Decimator as well as a token if they can take out their own Kongor. I just want to point out that Nymphora ported into the energy field. That is one of the worst feelings when you use a TP to port into an energy field, and then he just kind of was sitting there hopelessly. It's just such a bad feeling. But I want to go back to these light brand pickups as we actually have a kill here on the Flux potentially, but he's holding his ground though. Gonna get tableted to safety. He might fall down dying.
All right, well, Pharaoh did his best. He's going to end up dying because of that, too. So, yeah, it was a very close call to get away, but still the task completed for Son of Willowkeeper. But, yeah, the light brands.
Yeah, so they pick up 2 light brands on both the Gemini and the South Forest, and I feel like it's hard to say that this was like a bad decision. I mean, these are great items on these heroes respectively, but typically when you start to fall behind, I feel like the idea to try to out-farm Doghouse is not really there because they didn't win their laning phase. As we see the Kongor go down there, that's going to be a token for the Tremble. They didn't win their laning phase. It's almost like kind of, you know, setting them back even further because they have these farming items picked up. They're not really going to help them with team fights, and the team fights are almost inevitable because Doghouse has done so well that they're just going to kind of run at you. I feel like they could have went for some different items, maybe some team fighting items to kind of bulk up the team like as a whole, but they chose to go for these light brands, which ends up being really greedy, and thus we're seeing them kind of get, you know, kind of rolled over in the 5v5 engagements.
Yeah, that's that age-old of the, you know, fighting and winning as a team, certainly, as Magnus, by the way. He is, yeah, he's been trying to live this whole time. He's living. I mean, he actually avoids the death. Oh, Flux is, was he kind of disappointed with him? Or? Yeah, he's like, you know, hey, I meant to let that happen. Yeah, I wanted you to live. We're fine. We'll never know the truth, I suppose. And now Flux is... He might be in trouble. Yeah, Flux is also going to get turned here. There's no way he gets out of this, right? I mean, there's a TP coming out of the creep. Is that NG? It is, but he gets there too late.
Oh, they wanted to do the engineer field into flexible, but yeah, he didn't live long enough. Meanwhile, look what's going on at the Hellborn base here. Tower's already down.
It is, but they're fighting. Oh my god, a Cataclysm goes down. They do kill Tremble, but he got the token.
Off to the side here.
Left side here, yeah. They also make the turn kill on Gemini, so with the token resurrection for Tremble, he's feeling good. And you mentioned it, with them pushing this mid lane while that bottom skirmish was taking place, it certainly favors Doghouse in the end, especially after that four players killed in that fight, and they're going to get the racks on top of that. So, again, anytime Willowkeeper maybe gets a little bit of signs of hope of getting a kill here and there, it's quickly shut down by Doghouse with the objective gaming. And this is just a story that's been the case for all of Haunt's history, right? You think of the more successful teams we've ever seen, the Stay Greens, the BMGs, etc. It's always maybe complexities. You can throw them in there somewhat, but
sure, why not?
it always revolves around the team fights and the working together and doing objective-based gaming as leads to their success. So all these mines.
Mine trap. Oh, it's only gonna aggro half the mines. Magnus is gonna be fine. Oh, but Nymphora, well, she's not gonna be fine.
Nemesis.
Well, but yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and try to act like Doghouse is up there with the Stay Greens and the best of them ever, but don't want to overreact to what I'm saying. But the point is that's the theme is working together as a team. That really does go back to your point of the earlier items. That the double light brand on both your farming cores arguably could have been better off with certain items like the Energizer, etc.
Yeah, we had the early Ashley pickup on Tremble. I don't think we really touched too much on his item build this game. Then we had the Energizer on Draconis, as well as he does eventually pick up the Soul's Bulwark on Tremble, which is not your usual pickup, but you know, just kind of furthering the theme of these team items. As we have a stun here in the bottom lane, they are pressuring the racks. They did take out the base tower once again.
Willowkeeper giving themselves a bit of a last stand now.
Look what Flex is doing. He wants to pull them on the mines. They're gonna try to make this like a bait from the Pharaoh. When they collapse, this could be disastrous.
It's a fun finish. That's what they're going for. Tremble's dead. That bait didn't work out too well. Or maybe it did. They get one. They got Self-Force. Okay, well, they got Self-Force. They also trap in Gemini, but you can Twin Fangs away. The Cataclysms and pour it in, and Draconis will take out the Gemini. Make sure it doesn't get away. So maybe it wasn't as wombo combo heavy as they hoped for, but the end result is still very similar to what they're expecting. A hat trick for Make Love 83 and a concede vote that officially goes through for Willowkeeper. So we are going to see the 2-0 pretty dominating victory from the side of Doghouse, and I don't know much about the other two teams that we got coming up in our next semifinals, but whoever wins that is gonna have quite the challenge. I feel like against Doghouse.
Yeah, Doghouse, they're looking as good as ever. I mean, phenomenal. Both games 1 and game 2, they looked very, very strong here. Credits to Willowkeeper. They played some good games here in the tournament, but unfortunately their time has come to an end as we have Doghouse moving on to the finals. We have in semifinal 2, which will be coming up, I believe, in about 45 minutes from now. We have White Flag Gamers versus Slavic Angels United. That's another best of 3. But yeah, Doghouse just looking really, really good here in this series. I'm really excited to see them continue their journey here in ClanTour 3.0 in the finals. But yeah, just to kind of recap the game 2 there, I think what it boiled down to was Willowkeeper not really recognizing the weaknesses of Doghouse's lineup, which they ran the jungler there. So had they laned like more offensively, they could have potentially shut down the Tricore of Legion and caused more pressure on the Draconis. I think that was their biggest mistake. And then outside of that, a couple of questionable, I would say, light brand pickups, just mostly due to kind of falling behind in the early game. The game plan of trying to out farm Doghouse didn't really make much sense. I think if they had built more kind of the team items, kind of allow them to bulk up and hold their ground longer in those 5v5 engagements, could have proved to have been a little bit better for them. But again, a lot of credits to Doghouse. Their team play is fantastic. Their drafting is really fun. It's really fun to commentate their hero picks and whatnot. I really love the NG Flux that we got to see here in game 2, so that was really fun. And yeah, I think that kind of sums up the series, I would have to say.
My sum up is Doghouse is pretty good. So they're going to the finals, and we'll see who they end up facing with our next semifinals. You mentioned a little bit of a break here, but we'll eventually get into that one. But before we do, by the way, obviously there's plenty of highlights that happened during that game, and as you maybe saw in between the last game and going into this one, there was those highlights played on the TikTok side of things of Clantons, who is the organizer and puts on these events. Big shout out to him. Speaking of that, putting on these events isn't necessarily easy, especially for a game that is as old as it is in Han, but obviously still a community that loves to play and loves to participate in, and it's always fun to come back and cast these events. So head over to tiktok.com/Clantons if you're a TikTok fan. I'm a TikTok fan. I'm a boomer, but I still hang out with the TikTok crowd there. It's entertaining, and I'll be following Clantons over here myself, checking out these highlights. But are you a TikToker, Mr. What You Got?
I'm not like super big on all these social medias, but I will take a look at the TikTok, of course, for Clantons.
All right, that's secret for you. You have an alternate account that's on TikTok. You just don't want to admit it. That's fine. That's fine. Okay. You watch your Disney
I've always
TikTok.
been like good with Facebook and Instagram. I was never big on Twitter, but I over the years I've kind of done less and less. But I get why they're so prominent and whatnot. I like the concepts of social media. I like the TikTok though. It's great. Make
There's
sure
some
to
fun
follow
stuff on there.
TikTok.com/Clantons.
Yeah, he's putting that together, and check out the highlights over there from this event. So, all right. Speaking of highlights, I'm sure we got more to come in our second semifinal matchup. But as you mentioned again, we're going to be on about 40-minute break or so. 11 a.m. Eastern, I believe, is when we're looking to set that up. So about 5 p.m. Central European time. Good to go there. So enjoy the break, but we'll be hanging out and eventually coming back for our next semifinal matchup here for ClanTour 3.0. I'm BreakyCPK, joined by What You Got. Stay tuned. Second series coming up soon.
Here we go. It's time for ClanTour 3.0. $1,000 and 20,000 gold coins on the line. The 8 best teams in Heroes of Newerth. 5 versus 5 tournament. Best out of 3 main event. Best out of 5 final. Main caster, What You Got, and BreakyCPK. The event is going down the 27th and 28th of November at twitch.tv/Clantons.
This could be a good start to ClanTour 3.0. We're going to have Wretched Hag running into the lodestone. She actually avoids the rocket drill stun with the blink. Here comes Electrician. He's going to get the grip canceled immediately. 3-man joust coming in from the Bensington, and Monarch is going to fall. Electrician taking some heavy pressure in response. Will they get the Electrician down? He will go down. It is a 1-for-1. Bloodlust going to the Hellborn team as Chipper gets frozen by the Glaciers, and Chipper will fall. So far, a 2-for-1, and it is not done just yet. A joust comes in onto the Defiler. Glacius taking pressure in response. Defiler going to use the Golden Apple, but she will fall, and it will be a 3-for-1 level 1 clash, dude. We are not going to be held short here on the action. Already starting off strong here before the creep spawn.
There's definitely going to be some kind of clash coming out. Drunkenmaster leading the train of pain that's going to come on top of Dr. Repulsor. Lodestone throws the stun in, but it's not going to be nearly enough to save him. However, the clash continues. Drunkenmaster, one more auto attack will finish up. Gets denied, actually, by the Dark Lady, but another falls on the Legion's side. Draconis trying to flap his wings and fly away. He does a little bit more damage, but he finally goes down. And now Chipper standing toe-to-toe against these, still battling it out. He'll fall. Rhapsody falls as well, though. King Clout wants to get the final hit on Torturer. Maybe gonna get a range here. Throws the Goblet. Needs one more. Not gonna be enough. As Aluna's left behind. And Dutch Ownage, I think you're the one that's gonna get owned here in the end. Okay, well, so this is just,
Gonna be avoided by everyone. The ports are coming in. Gladiator gonna fall. He gets the call to arms up, but the energy field also missing. There's a keg stun. As the Compel will get him to safety for now. Dragon is here now with the Volcano. He hits a multi-hero breath. Gonna get gripped up here by the Electrician. Doesn't have the Energizer up, and Electrician, he's trying to get the kill here on the Draconis, but there's a breath coming in, John, and it's going to be a hat trick for the Draconis. Will the Electrician at the 16-minute mark? Here's the Solstice Ultimate being channeled. It's going to hit onto several heroes. They're going to get the stun initiation as well. Here's the Protected Melody as Kraken gets lifted up. The Melody's going to be a full duration. It's going to keep them alive for now. Get to the button. Is he going to go down in the back line? As they did also lose the Rhapsody, and it's going to be disaster for the Hellborn side as they do lose the Defiler as well as the Calamity, and they only get the Kraken kill there as well as the Grip comes out on the Kong. Look at how low they are.
Oh my
Kraken
god.
and Electrician. Behemoth wants to go in. He could get a
be
3-man
huge.
shockwave here. There's the 3-man shockwave coming in with the 2-man rather than Pharaoh, and it's a double tap coming in for Behemoth. Revenant is now on the run as they stole the Kongor there with that Behemoth shockwave, and huge plays coming in from the side of Fife. Will they get this Revenant kill? It doesn't look like it, but meanwhile, off in the jungle, Gemini gets a kill here on the Deadwood, and look at